Welcome to Starengu. I'm your host, Tasha Johnson. Today, I have the absolute pleasure of speaking with Roberta Rose Collins, creator of Yes, She Can. Their mission is to motivate and empower women to live healthier lives. They share their message via their activities and events regarding self-care, physical activity, and healthy eating. Welcome to the show, Roberta.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so I am Roberta Rose Collins, a mom of one, a grandmother of one.
Oh, wow.
And a wife of 25 years to Andre Collins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary last December.
Oh, good for you. Congratulations. That's like a whole nother podcast. How did you stay together?
Yeah, I know, right? And as you mentioned, I am the founder of Yes, She Can. And after 20 years of having a career in administration and events, I am also now an integrative nutrition and health coach.
Oh, wow. Okay. So why did you create Yes, She Can?
So Yes, She Can was really started from my own personal journey. I was ill. I was overweight. Well, I guess on the scale, they would call that obese. And I was very, very unhealthy, made several trips to the doctor every year. I even had a few surgeries and procedures.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, in 2012, and then up of 2012 into 2013, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. And I had to make some lifestyle changes, specifically to my diet, because now I could not eat anything that had gluten in it. And in Trinidad, that's a bit of a challenge.
Wow. Okay.
Because we eat a lot of flour. A lot. Like that's a typical breakfast and even lunch item.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. So lots of good, tasty flour stuff.
Yes.
And what happened was I, made these changes gradually to my diet. It was really, really tough. Thankfully, I have a very supportive husband. And so he really held my hand through that process, but it was very, very difficult for me to do. And once, however, I got my eating under control, I started to walk because I was like, now what happened naturally after I started to eat better is I lost weight. And so it kind of was encouraging. And I was like, maybe I can add some physical activity to this. Before this, I lived a totally sedentary lifestyle. So there was no movement at all.
Wow.
And then, so I introduced physical activity into my life. And I did really well. I found a gym where the trainer, his style of training really, really motivated and helped me to improve. And this one time, he said, okay, we're going to do this amazing race. I don't know if Molly, do you know of Tough Mudder?
Yes, I do. I love to run. I've heard of that race. I've never done it.
Wow. We have had something that mimicked it in Trinidad called hardcore.
Oh.
And so I went from zero to being convinced that I could do this. And so, okay, I did this 20+ military style obstacle course over a few miles. And so, okay, fine, I did it. But I didn't really pay any attention to what was going on around me until I did my first half marathon. My first half marathon happened in October of 2014.
Good for you.
I ran. It's still my biggest accomplishment. Like I ran for 2 hours and 35 minutes without stopping.
That is awesome. Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you. It still makes me feel so warm inside just to think about, like, I remember every step, I promise you. I remember every time my foot landed on that road, because it was such an empowering event for me in my life. And I remember at the end, and of course my husband is always there. He didn't run, did not run.
He's like, I'll cheer from the sidelines. I totally get it. I get it.
He was like, yay, you.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, he had so much pride when I crossed that finish line. Like, I looked at him and it hit me then just how much of an accomplishment that was.
Oh, I know it is. I know it is.
Yeah, but I remember asking him, I was like, did you doubt I would finish? And he was like, no, you can do anything that you set your mind to. You've proven that over and over. And so I challenged him with a few outrageous things. Well, to me, at the time, it was outrageous. I would ask him, do you think I could do this? Or do you think I could do that? And he was like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Through my journey to just improving the quality of my life, what I did to stay motivated was post my activities and the food that I ate on social media. And it was my way of keeping me motivated and accountable. And that's it. That's all I wanted to do with that. And it didn't have anything to do with motivating others. However, what happened was, because my change was so drastic, and persons saw physical changes even before because I wasn't paying attention to it. And I know that sounds weird, but I just really wasn't. So I have not ever looked at myself as fat, skinny. Like, I didn't see myself in that light. Mm-hmm. So when my husband said to me that I needed to get this new pair of jeans, it did not make, like, I didn't clue into the fact that I've lost so much weight that my clothes was now baggy on me. It didn't, like, I got dressed, yes, every single day, and I put my clothes on, but it stayed up. So yeah. I guess it was fine. And then when he called me and he said, let me show you, and he pulled them down. Like, he literally just took his hands, no force, and just pulled my jeans off of me. I realized just how much weight I had lost. But the weight loss stuff was never a motivating factor for me. What it was is that I felt amazing. I had been sick for so long that this renewed energy, vitality, what I got from taking care of myself, it gave me a high. So it really had little to do with my physical appearance for me, and more to do with how good it made me feel.
That's amazing.
Thank you. And what happened was, because people were noticing these changes in me, because I did a 180, a complete 180. I was running a lot. I was climbing over stuff. Like, I was just, flipping tires, pulling up trees, like all sorts of crazy stuff. And it was not anybody who knew me. Nobody would say, okay, yeah, Roberta would do that. So what I realized was that without being purposeful about it, my photos and my stories on my social media pages were inspiring others. And when I think the biggest, the most, what's the word I want to use? My big aha with that was, I had a friend in Dominica who messaged me one day and said, Do you know that my wife checks your posts every single morning and then works out? Like, she would not do anything until she saw your post. I'm like, okay, no problem. Right. And then he said, if you don't post, she doesn't work out. So could you please keep your posts up? Well, that's a lot, but okay.
That's like a lot of pressure right there. That's a lot of pressure.
but all this time, I'm just really doing it for me and to make sure that I stay motivated. And it got me to thinking, that message got me to thinking that maybe I can create a space that people could share, we can motivate each other, and just this non-judgmental space where all we do is just speak life into each other and motivate each other and help each other to know that because look where I started, basically was my thing. If I could do it, anybody could do it. And I was willing to share that. It was just really, first of all, finding love for myself, and then taking that and just being patient and understanding that small, consistent changes would give me the results that I needed. And that is basically how Yes She Can was born. The name came about because my mind at that time then went back to my husband answering yes each time I asked him something. And I thought about that word yes and how powerful it is, and how much power the word yes holds. And I figured that it would have been a really good affirmation for anyone who, anywhere in the world, who wanted to just make a positive change in their lives. Because we hear no so often that we believe it, we embrace the no. And so I just wanted to say, yes, she can.
I love that story. That is extremely motivating. And I have to admit, one of the main reasons I've always actually been on the active side, but when I got older, I noticed, like, I don't know what happened. I've always had digestive issues. So when you said celiac, I've always had digestive issues as well. And that was one of the things that spurred me into getting in better shape. And I, like you, one of my major goals was the half marathon. So when you were telling me that story, I was like, oh my goodness, I totally can relate to that.
So did you run a half marathon?
I did. I've ran 3.
Me too.
I ran 3 half marathons. My goal, my bucket list is to run a full marathon, but I know I've got to put in more training for that. And this is not the year that I'm going to do it, but that's my goal. I want to do that.
I don't know about that marathon thing. Like I know. I really don't know about that marathon.
Trust me. Here's the thing. I've had that marathon on my bucket list for a couple years now. So I'm kind of like, right now I'm going to turn 37 in July. My goal is to have it done before I turn 40.
Nice. Well, you're going to do it.
Yes, that is my goal, because
you're going to do it.
And I want to run the Chicago Marathon because I'm from Chicago. That's like the big marathon. They totally, the whole city shuts down. Every neighborhood. I mean, I've cheered at that race, but to be in the race is something totally different, right? So,
well, I'm gonna check on you because no, you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do it, but I'm gonna check up on you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's something with, I don't know, an illness can kind of push you into a different direction. It really is amazing. I'm just listening to your story and I was thinking about that. And I recently got licensed to teach Zumba, something I never saw myself doing, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's just, your story is so inspiring to me. I tell people all the time, you really need to invest in yourself and take time out, you know,
Yes.
get your health together, because then everything else falls into place. So one of the things I was curious about is what type of activities and events does Yes She Can host? And are all the events held all over the world, or are they typically in Trinidad or Hong Kong? Because I saw some of those two on your website.
Yes. So, Yes She Can was formed in 2015. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. And we have it's a very small group of us. It's me. I am the founder,
Sure.
but I do get support from a few other women who I know who come in from time to time to support on different events and activities. Now, we have been involved in quite a lot, and ranging from motivating a group of 16 women and 4 men to train for and complete a triathlon in 2015. We competed in a dragon boat regatta in Trinidad in 2016, and that's what Hong Kong, the Yes She Can Hong Kong, they have been doing dragon boat regattas since 2016 as well.
Oh, wow.
We've formed teams to participate in several runs. So we've done 5Ks, 10Ks, duathlons, half marathons. In Trinidad, there is this option to do a half marathon relay. So one of the ways that I got, women involved in even being a part of a half marathon was registering teams for this relay. So they still got to be a part of it without it being too intimidating. With regards to events, we host a lot of self-care events. And we even had our very first Women in Wellness conference 2 years ago.
Wow. That is absolutely amazing. So at these conferences and events, what message do women take away from attending your activities and events?
Well, for the activities where we, most of the times what we do is we train to, not compete, because I even though we get very competitive,
sure.
we train to participate in other events. So for instance, like the half marathon, we would have trained for 3 months. I took a group of non-athletic women, by the way. Our average age was like 36.
Oh, okay.
Or thereabouts. And I had 2 50-year-olds, 1 19-year-old, a few people that was closer to 50, and a few were like in their 30s. And there were women who never rode a bike before.
Oh, wow.
Who learned to do that. I didn't swim. None of us ever swam in the open water. And this group of women, every single week came out. We had no dropouts. Every single week for 3 months came out and gave their all. And I think with those types of activities, it's really that message of breaking barriers that we set up for ourselves. So we set these barriers and say, I cannot swim and I cannot ride. But through the support and through the action of putting yourself out there, stepping out of your comfort zone, these women would have all learned so much about themselves in terms of who they are and what they're capable of. I had 2 women in that team who were going through a divorce at the time, and one who had lost her mother suddenly. And they will all say to this day that helped them so much to cope with dealing with those, really awful things that happen in their lives. And so when we do those types of activities, it's really to share the message of you can do it if you just give yourself an opportunity to, because most of the times we are afraid to put ourselves out there, or we are afraid to step out of our comfort zones, and that's what keeps us back from accomplishing. With regards to our self-care events, we are big on promoting self-care.
Mm-hmm.
We want women to know that it's something that could be infused in your daily life. It's not always possible to go on a trip or to go to the spa. But self-care is so much more than that. And
oh yeah,
when we share our events are quite interactive. I invite experts in the fields of whatever topic we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always meant so that when a participant, a woman who comes in, when she leaves with tools that would help her to take that step that she needs to take in the direction to becoming that's a version of herself. And so we speak all the time on our social media pages, especially. It's a lot of focus on just carving this time out, ensuring that we protect our energy and replenish as often as we can our resources, because we give as women. We just, it's what we do, we give.
This is so true. Absolutely true. So kind of piggybacking off of that question, many times it can actually be quite difficult to carve time out for yourself. So what advice do you have for women who find themselves in this situation? Like they're just not sure. How do they go about carving out this time?
I say schedule your me time and guard it with your life. It really doesn't have, like, I think we think of time out for yourself as this huge event. And it can come in little bits throughout your day. And if we just look at it that way, it just shifts a little bit the way we think about self-care and even having the time to do it. So for me, for instance, my Saturday morning, I walk to the beach, which is about 30 minutes from my house. Now, my husband and I walk almost every morning of the week, but Saturday morning is my beach walk, my walk to go down there. He's not with me. And once I get there, I find a spot on the pier and just allow myself to melt into that surface. I close my eyes, I listen to the movement of the water beneath me, I feel the warmth of the sun on my body, and I tune into smelling the salt on the ocean. And in that few minutes, I have transported myself to a place where my body, my mind, and my soul is replenished and revived. And it really does not take it. It may sound like it takes a lot of time, but before I know it, so he drives down to the beach and he picks me up. And because by that time, I don't want to walk back.
You know what? I'm not even going to blame you on that.
I'm just here. I don't want to be hustling to walk back to the house. I just want to just let that moment just take me through my day. And it's as simple as that for me. But I guard that time, is what I'm saying. So that is my time that I do that. And I guard it fiercely, just as we guard everything else. We guard the kids have to do activities, we're right there with them. Nothing, you can come and say, oh girl, could you come XYZ? Oh no, that's my daughter's dance time, so there's no way I could do that. We need to take that same approach to our me time when we've identified what that is.
I completely agree with you. Again, 100%. I am a huge proponent, and I tell people all the time, I don't care what you have to do, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, take that time and start trying to invest in yourself. you know, and it really does start with being by yourself, trying to figure out what it is that you want to do. And just listening to you describe, I felt like I was transported to the beach too. And
Nice.
you guys, it's hilarious because, you know, again, well, you can describe where you live at. I'm a little jealous, but not a little, totally jealous. But right now it's snowing in
Oh no.
in April, and listening to you tell that story, I'm like, oh man, I want to go to there.
Come visit me. Really, like it's.
Uh,
I'm telling this. I'm telling you, and I myself am feeling it. So I could just like It is so amazing. But you know what it is though? I have found that that water, being around water, replenishes my soul. And so this is what it does for me. It may be another part of nature for somebody else. It may be walking through grass or trees, or it may be coloring, or it may be doing some sort of craft. It for some people, it's taking the time out to go to the gym. Like, it really is very unique to you. And all I'm saying is, whatever it is that really like allows for you to tune into you and make you feel replenished after your week, after your day, after a particular activity, a conversation, whatever it is. Tune into what that is and do it often as you can.
Exactly. So with that said, even though you live and feel, guys, I don't know if you mentioned where you lived. I know you and I were chatting beforehand, but can you share with the audience where you live?
Yes, I live on the beautiful island of Anguilla.
Guys, especially if you're from the Midwest, you know you're feeling really jealous right now.
And I want to say Anguilla is a small island of about 12,000 people. So, and we have absolutely no fast food outlets here. So there's none of those fast food chains, none of them, none. And we have no cinemas. There's absolutely just, you want to come here to rejuvenate and to really connect with your soul. That's what this place is really good for. There are 32 or 33, they say, pristine beaches around the island. So it's really, I mean, it's truly paradise.
Oh my goodness. Which leads me to my next question, but I feel like you're already living this, if you ask me. What was the best vacation you ever took? I feel like your life is a vacation.
You know what? My life pretty much is right now. I celebrate my 46th birthday in a couple of weeks.
Look at that. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
Thank you. And I feel like, you know, I may be in early retirement. I don't know. But but I feel like I live in this beautiful space that allows for me to be on a vacation every single day, honestly. But I would say, outside of this, the best vacation that I went on was with my husband. The first cruise we ever took, it may have been 2009. We went for our anniversary, and it was a Caribbean cruise, but it was such a beautiful, like, yeah, we had to leave the Caribbean because I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. So we had to fly to Miami to take this cruise ship to take us back to the Caribbean, which,
oh my goodness,
was interested on its own. But it was a really, really, really great time. We had a chance to just reconnect with each other, and it was a very, very good memory.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool. So again, keeping up with some more fun questions. Would you rather travel back in time or forward, and why?
Definitely forward. Okay. And because every experience that I've had, there's so much value chucked in there. And I feel like I could take those lessons learned and improve my present and my future. So I don't see any sense in going back, but I certainly feel like any opportunity to just go ahead, I'm there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I prefer to move ahead. I don't want to try and look backwards too much, because I mean, I just prefer to move ahead as well. So yeah, that's a good point.
I would look back, but just enough to take the lessons that I need to learn to move myself forward. I don't want to live there. I just, I don't want to revisit it that way, and I don't want to live there.
Yep. So if you could meet anyone in the world, who would it be?
So let me think. I would say my dad's dad, and my father was adopted. And so that part of his life remains a mystery. I know his mom. Well, I knew his mom. She passed away. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there's so much that happened in my family, and even like with my dad's health and mine, that answers could be found if I just knew who that person was. So it would be him.
Okay. No, that's a good answer too. Yeah. Answer. I mean, especially when it comes to the health part. I mean, who wouldn't want to have as many as many ways to figure out what's going on? I totally get that. So yeah. So here's a fun one too. All right. So if you had the ability to listen into people's thoughts, would you use it?
That's an interesting one. I don't think that I would, because I think that people's thoughts they're private, and they should really stay that way until they're ready to share them. I could just imagine, like, if somebody was to just step into my mind for 5 seconds, they would get very scared. There's so many things go on in there before I actually come up, say what it is needs to happen, because my mind just goes a mile a minute. Yeah. So just from my own, like, I don't even want to be in my head sometimes, if that much. However, there is one person that I would not mind knowing what's on their mind, and that's my almost 2-year-old granddaughter, because she looks at you, in a kind of way. I would really love to know what she's thinking sometimes.
Oh, you know what? I feel like that would be for little kids in general. Trust
me. I would honestly. When she was born. They said she was born with knowing. Like, she just had this knowing look, and everybody's like, she's been here before, whatever. But she is really a very interesting character, and she, for her age, I would really love to know, like, how she processes things. And that's really the only person for now. When she gets older, I respect her privacy. But if I could peep in there, I would want to know.
Okay, you are better than me, because my answer to this would actually be, for the most part, I want to respect people's privacies. But when it comes to traveling, if I could get in touch with a travel agent, they could tell me when I should be purchasing this ticket, that is like the $1 million question to me, because it's a mystery to me. What day should I be purchasing my tickets on? Like, that's what I want.
You have to have a travel agent like mine, because she is awesome at telling me those things. Mm-hmm. She's been able to give me a lot of tips on when to purchase, when to upgrade, when it made sense, Mm-hmm.
See, this is good. Yeah, we might have to talk later then, because that's the first thing. Honestly, when I was thinking of these questions, I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like I don't want to hear like everyone's thoughts, but I would love to know, when I'm booking some travel tickets, should I do that? Because there's so much conflicting info out there.
There is. But I've been working with her for maybe like 16, 17 years.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
we're really good. Like we are really good friends now. Like she collects turtles. And so I think I have contributed, my husband and I have contributed to 90% of her turtle collection, because once I visit a new place, guess what? Guess who gets a turtle?
Oh, that's so cute.
And and I look for the most unique turtles. So she has yeah, quite a collection of turtles.
Oh, oh my goodness, that's really unique too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So if you could have your own theme song, what would it be and why?
So this is going to get really, really corny now, but it will be Yes She Can, because it's such a powerful affirmation that I connect with, and I feel that it's those words really speak to who I have become as an individual, as I grew, as I matured, and I tell people maturity has absolutely nothing to do with age.
Oh,
And
yes.
more with experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of matured into this space where I believe that I can do things. And for most of my life, I lived being very afraid and, being very self-conscious. And when I look back, I was gorgeous. I had, as a teenager, like I would date me, like,
Yeah.
but I never saw that. In my own insecurities, I just never saw that about myself. So when I matured to this place of believing that I could basically do anything that I wanted to do, whatever I put my mind to, and being able to execute that, so actually see it happen. Yeah, it's something that makes me those words are very, 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 very powerful for me.
Wow. I could definitely, I could see why that would be your choice too. So
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So what's the best piece of advice you have for aspiring bloggers and entrepreneurs?
Well, if you're anything like me, you've done all the research, know that whatever you're about to, go into is something that you really want to do. Everything aligns, but you're still scared.
Yeah.
Great. That's perfect, because it most likely means that you're on the right track. And I would say take the leap. Do it scared, because things are seldom perfect, or they're seldom perfect as our definition of perfect is. And sometimes you just have to do things scared and trust that it's going to be okay. And I personally feel that most of the things that I have done scared have been my most successful ventures. So you know this is where you want to be, this is what you want to do, you've done the research, that it's right. So just push through being scared and just go for it.
And that is fantastic advice. That was perfect advice. Just want to thank you once again for coming on to the show. And how can people reach you if they wanted to find out more about Yes She Can?
Yes She Can is, we have our website, which is yscwomeninwellness.com. So YSC as Yes She Can, womeninwellness.com. We have our Instagram page, which is Yes She Can Project, I think. And our email address is yesshecanproject@gmail.com. And of course, if you type in Yes She Can on Facebook, we're the one with the awesome butterfly logo.
Yes. Again, Roberta, it has been such a pleasure speaking with you. I just want to thank you so much for coming on to the show and sharing your awesome mission with the rest of us. Yes She Can is definitely something that resonated with me, and I felt like a lot more people needed to know about it. So again, thank you so much for sharing your message.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to today's podcast. I'm confident that my side hustle of helping others to invest in themselves via my YouTube channel, this podcast, and most importantly, my online courses could be of assistance to you. If you enjoy Starengu's podcast, please consider becoming a supporter by donating to help offset the cost of producing this show. Be sure to check out Starengu's ultimate social media content calendar. Remember, if you're everything to everyone, then you risk being no one. You never know who you may inspire. See you in the next episode.
After the hurricane, when nobody was coming to Anguilla, I came with almost 3 tons of relief supplies under the Yes She Can umbrella.
Oh, wow.
There was nobody from Trinidad willing to come. And my husband called me and he said he was okay, but so many people weren't. And of course, they told me it couldn't be done because it was very difficult to get out of our islands into these islands that were devastated.
Yeah.
And the worst thing you can tell me now is I can't do something. So in 2 weeks, I literally I made this huge call out in Trinidad and collected so much supplies that they had to fly the supplies to another island and 2 planes to bring it over.
Oh, wow.
So I have that. Not many people know about it because I didn't do it for, like to finally to talk about. I did it because there was a need that wasn't being filled, and at the time, no other, not the Red Cross, nobody was willing to come into the country because I don't know, they just weren't seeing that they were as devastated as they actually were. So I was the one feeding the information out to the different agencies in Trinidad, saying to them, listen, this is actually what's happening there. This is real. My husband is there. The people need help. And still nobody would come because the bottom line, I think, is Anguilla wasn't of value to them because it comes down to politics and it comes down to, even in situations like that,
yeah,
who it's so sad that it does, but it really does. When I quickly figured out that's what was going on, and this is a whole other story, and a story of faith and just perseverance, because up to now, it doesn't even make sense that I got permission to get off of my island. The plane stopped and dropped me alone off in St. Martin because the airport wasn't open.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was the only person who got off the plane the CEO of the airline, whom I did not know before this whole situation,
Mm-hmm.
he's the one who helped me. And it's so funny because he was acting CEO. I found out he was acting CEO. And soon after I got all of this sorted out, he was no longer there. And he was just acting CEO for this little time. So it's like really like a powerful story of faith and hope and how we have to trust. Like it is so crazy. I got to St. Martin and it was nightfall by the time, and all of these islands had no electricity. And I had to get on a 20-foot pirogue, like this fishing boat that had no covering or anything. I could literally, like the water just splashing on me because we're just in this boat with complete strangers. I did not know these people because I didn't tell my husband I was coming.
Oh my goodness.
And I had to get these complete strangers to bring me over to the island in the night on the open sea in this little boat.
What?
Yeah, it's a story, trust me. And I did that 4 times over the period of a week. Yeah, 4 different days over the period of a week. Return, like back and forth. So back and forth 1, back and forth 2, back and forth 3, back and forth 4, to get all the supplies over. And when I did, it was really a very humbling experience, because I am personally not into any disaster relief, anything. It was the first time I did anything like this. And it was really humbling. I didn't stay. I came just to do that and leave. And to get back home was another sort of drama, because the St. Martin, where I had to fly through, said I couldn't come back through there again. They won't let another plane land.
Oh, wow.
So I had to get on the equivalent of that little boat in the sea, in the air. So it was like a 8-seater propeller plane.
What?
To fly. Wow. And yeah, and when I got on the plane, from here, there were other people on the plane, but then they dropped the people off on another island. And then the pilot looks at me when we went back, and I was like, expecting more people to come on the plane. And he says, oh, come up front with me. And I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, no, really, it's just you and me on the plane. Oh, and I'm like, listen, praying so hard, because it was frightening enough to be up there in this little plane, and you can actually like count the people on the floor because you're so down close to the earth.
Oh, wow. You're that close? Oh.
Well, no, not really, but it's just like, it was so scary. It was like so crazily scary. And then this is me on this plane with a man, nobody else in there, in the air. If he was even inappropriate, I could not do anything about it.
Wow.
And it was a lot of praying and a lot of trusting and a lot of, and then I got to Antigua because they were also hit by the hurricane.
Yeah.
I had to overnight, and I knew nobody there, and there were no hotels that I can get to. And these Good Samaritans, well, from here, they organized for me to stay with people that somebody here knew. And yeah, I overnight again in some stranger's home, and then was on my way. And that is a very condensed version of what happened over the period of a little over a week.